Hello and welcome back. So this is Naveen from UiBrains Technologies. Now in this video we are going to understand an interesting example using HTML and CSS. It is a small application which we can make with HTML and CSS. So you can see the UI looks like this. So which contains some 6 cards with all our with background color is like black and white in color. So how this application works is like an expanding card. So whenever you select a particular um, photo or the card, so which will be expanded and it will be display full in color and also text on the top. So by default text will be on the bottom, and when I click on it, it will be shifted to the top, and also it will display in full color image and it will be expanded, and the other one will be get string back to the original size. So this is an interesting application which we can make with HTML and CSS, which also includes set of transitions, transformations, and also the flexbox concept of CSS. We have margins, paddings, and all. Okay, so now let's jump in to start with this course. Before going for the course, if you want to get the interesting videos like this, so please do subscribe to my channel. So now let's jump in. So I have an editor. So for this expanding cards, so I will be creating a directory expanding cards. Okay. So in this, I will create. So I need to have images. So you can download your own images from any website. So I have already images list out here. So I'll just get that image folder and I'll keep it here. Okay, and then I'll create a one HTML file, that is index, and I create one style sheet, that is styles.css, and I also create a JavaScript, that is script.js. Okay, so let's connect the things now. I'll connect link. It is my style.css, and also at the body section I'll connect to the my script.js. Okay, so the title goes to be here expanding cards. Okay, so let me open this HTML on the browser. So you can do one thing is open in browser, a default browser, so it opens in a default browser, but only one problem is you need to refresh every time. Okay, fine. So now let's start with first HTML part, and then the CSS, and then we'll go with the JavaScript. Okay, so the structure of this thing will be you have a whole container with each card is one panel. So I write like this: one container class, in that each panel one division. So let's give an ID, just say panel 1. Okay, because each panel is each card I call as panel. So each panel is have different images. So I have taken a separate ID just to give a different images as a background. So I have a panel and I have how many? 6, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, and I'll change the IDs because each panel should have a different image. So based on ID, I'll refer. So panel 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 6 panels is ready. So now when you see the UI, nothing gets printed because these are just divisions and doesn't have any width and height. So that's the reason why you can't see anything here. Okay, so let's recapture. Parent class is container and each is panel. So now let's jump into the style sheet. So first of all, what I do is margin 0 and padding 0 for all the elements. Okay, and then for body tag, I'll say the font family. I'll use Calibri and sans serif. Of course, as of now, we don't have any text. Okay, and the container, we need to give some styles. Before I start with the container, I need to see the panel size. Okay, so what I do is first panel. Okay, so for panel, I'll say width some 50 pixels for time being, and the height I'll say some 90 VH, the viewport height, and still you can't see that. I'll just give some box shadow because there is no content inside. So 0 0 10 pixels and black. So when I give some box shadow, yes, you can see all the divisions one after the other. So but I want these divisions to be center of the page. So what I do is these all the divisions are part of container. So I'll give some flexbox for the container, so all this can be managed inside a flexbox. So for this container, so I'll say display flex. Okay, so it's been a flex row by default, and so if you wish you can say flex direction as a row. By default is row, and I say center. So just say justify content center, so it comes in the center. And also vertically center, that is align items center, and let's also give the height to be 100 viewport height. Okay, so it came exactly in the center. And so each of this panel, there are 6 panels, right? So each panel I want to provide some margin. So the go to the panel again, I'll provide some margin, some 20 pixels, so you get some margin. Okay, and let's also add slight a border radius. So let's say border radius, some 20 pixels of border radius. Okay, and so each of the flex box, there are 6 flex boxes, but I want to divide the entire flex boxes to be each of with a same size. So for that you can give the flex 1. So if I give the flex 1, so all are divided into a same size inside the flex box, all the flex items. Okay, so each box is a flex item. Okay, now each of this box I want to provide a different image in the background. So for that matter I have given an ID like panel 1 2 3 4 5 6. So let's go with that. So hash panel 1, let's give some background image URL. I have an image folder slash card1. So I have just given images like that, card1, card2, like that. Okay, so I have an image here. So like that I need for all. Okay, this is for panel 2, this is for 3, this is for 4, this is for 5, and this is for 6. I'm maintaining the images as well. So this is for card image 2, and this is for card image 3, and this is for card image 4, and quickly 5 and 6. Okay, so you get all the different images. And if you want to position them in a proper location, so what I do is let's say background I mean color white, and no repeat, scroll and center, so that it will be positioned properly at the center of uh, this card or this panel. Okay, so I think that's fine. Now the interesting thing is when I click on this, it will be expanded and is like that. Okay, so if you want to get this expand nature, what you have to do is you need to give a separate class, and this will be expanded. Okay, so it means in entire all these cards, and this will have a class called active. So this is active now. So when I click on this will get active and this will get active that way. So let me give the active class with a separate styles. So I manually add for the panel active. Okay, so once this panel is active, what will be the styles of it? Okay, so for active I'll write like this dot active. So once the panel is active, what to do? So each panel is of size flex 1. There are 6 panels, but I want this to occupy the combination of all the 6. So I'll say flex to be 6. Okay, so flex 6. So now when you see, so only this has occupied the width of all these panels. Okay, so this is active. So if you change the class active, to another one, then what happens is that will get active. If I change this to the third one, and that will get active. So whichever the panel is having a class called active, so then that get active. Okay, so as of now I'll make it for the first one is active. Okay, um, but I want to make the clicking on each panel, and so that only that get active and all the remaining should not have a class called active. Okay, so for that you need to go with a JavaScript. So let's start with the JavaScript where you click on each panel and make that itself is active. So we need to have all the panels because each one we have to add an active. So I go to script. So let panels element is equal to document dot. You can go with get element by ID or class or a query selector. So when I say the query selector, only the first element of the class you get, but I want to get all these divisions, a list of divisions. So you just say query selector all with a class call dot panel because class name is panel, so dot panel. Okay, so you got all the panels. You wanna confirm, you can just say console.log of panel element. So all the panels, it's a plural. Okay, all the panels. Now when I inspect, you can see the console. You have a node list of 6 elements and all the divisions has received here. Okay, all the 6 panels has been received. Okay, yeah. So I want to loop through this all the panels node lists and I'll apply the click events. So I'll say panels element dot for each. So each panel I have a inline function. Yeah. So each panel you receive one panel from there, and each panel when I click on the panel. So panel dot how you apply the click event is add event listener of click. Okay, when I apply the click event, so what should happen? So whenever I click on the each panel, so it should add a class called active. So how you add a class is the panel dot there is a property called class list. So class list property will list out all the classes which is there for a particular element. Okay, the panel element. Okay, there is another function dot add what class you want to add active. Okay, so this is the class I wanted to add. Okay, so now when this is what I have done. Yeah, now when I go back, so this is now active because when you inspect again, see here. So when I inspect, see only the first one is active, so this is active. When I click on this and this, what happens is it is added active for all, correct? So this and all the three are active, so that's why it is trying to occupy its own space like that, and all are active now. I don't want that, only one to be active at a time. Okay, so if you want only one to be active, you have to remove all the active classes and just add only for one. So what you have to do is I'll create a function remove active classes. Remove active classes is equal to a function. I'll go with an arrow function. Okay, so let me write a for each again. All the panels element dot for each. So each panel you get. So each panel I remove a class. How you add a class like this? Okay, so I'll say remove. So what happened? This function will iterate through all the panels and it removes the active class for everyone. So I want to call this function whenever I click on it, because when I click on it, the moment I click on all the existing classes active removed, only this will get added. So I'll say remove active classes. So I'll call that function here. Okay, so what happened when you click on a particular one, everything gets removed, only that particular one gets added. So now back here, I refresh. Okay, so when I click on this one, only that gets active. remaining all the other one has been removed from the active class. You can even check in here. Only the second one is active, and I click on third one. So third one got active that way. Okay, that's fine, but you can't see the smooth transition. So you wanna have a smooth transition, you can go back to CSS for my panel. Okay, for my panel, just say transition all 0.5 seconds and linear. Okay, so once you add a transition, so you can see the smooth transition happens whenever you select the each item. Okay, this is expanding cards, that's fine. And another thing is I want to grade out everything, right? Because all these other ones are, black in color. So here to grade out everything, we have a we have a property called filter grayscale. So I want to have all these things will be of grayscale. So here I'll say for filter grayscale of 0. Is it? I think it's S1. Grayscale of 1. Yes. So see here, all are in black and white in color, but active will be full color. So once it is active, once the panel is active, I'll say the grayscale filter to be 0. Okay, so grayscale 1 is black and white color, and grayscale 0 is the proper colorful image. Okay, so when I refresh, see it is in proper color, and when I click on this, and that gets full in color, so grayscale. Okay, so this feature also done, and the last one is we need to have some text like this, and when I click on it, it should be on the top. So it was rotated like this, and when I click on it, it will be shifted to this particular position. So here we use the position concept. Okay, and this box will be relative, and this will be in a absolute position. So let's add a positions for these particular text. Okay, so what I do is in this particular division, I'll say H3 something called Paris. So when I add a text called Paris, you got a Paris here, but I want this to be somewhere at the bottom, rotated. Okay, so what I do is for the panel, I'll say the position is relative. Okay, and for dot panel space h3, I'll say the position absolute. So it will be stick to that, and I want this to be at what location I want to. I want at the bottom. So I say left 0 pixels. I mean 0 left 0, and the bottom at the bottom some 100 pixels location. So it is here, and I want to change the color of it. So I'll say the color is white, and I want to have a font size that is some 40 pixels, and let's rotate it. So I use a transform rotate some 90 degrees. Okay, so if I say rotate 90 degrees, it rotate like this, but I want reverse. You can just say minus 90, so you get off this way. Okay, that's fine. Okay, it is looking here, but once it is expanded, I wanna have at this location without rotate at this point. So once it is active, right? Once it expands is a sense active class. So once it is active, I want this to be here. So active is here. So I write like this dot active space h3. Okay. So I wanted to have a transform, let's say 0 degrees. So back to original location. Yeah, it was like this. It is now like this. Okay, but there is no smooth transition for the rotation. You can get the transition, and you can also add it for the H3. so that yeah, the smooth transition will happen. That's fine, but only thing is it should not be here, it should be somewhere at the here top. So the position of it was where's the position, left and bottom. So I'll change the position to left 0 but top 100 pixels at the top location. I think it's some problem. Oh, sorry, I have given for active, not for that, for H3. Okay, so fine. Um, but this, I think top also some 50 pixels and left, I think it's 50 pixels again because some space at the left side. Okay, looks good. And I want to have some shadow because it's not visible properly. So you can just say text shadow 00 some 10 just 3 pixels of black text shadow, so you get some shadow on the text. Okay, so it was here, when I click on it, it will be shifted to over there. Okay, that looks good. So let's make it for all these panels to have text on it. Okay, it is like Bangkok, Indonesia, Singapore. So I will back to HTML again, just like a H3. I'll add a H3 Bangkok, and let's add a H3 Singapore and another one. This is, I guess, Kerala. No, no, Bangkok, Indonesia. God, Indonesia. Hmm. This is actually Bangkok only. Indonesia, Singapore, Kerala, and last one is New York. Okay, so we got all, and so now let's see. When I click on Bangkok, you get this here, and it'll be Indonesia, Singapore, and Kerala, and this one. Okay, that's all. So now we have finished the a simple experiment with HTML and CSS example. So if you start doing this type of example, it builds up your confidence in HTML and CSS. Okay, so thank you so much for watching, and let's meet in the next video with another concepts. Thank you.